Hey guys, so today Molly and I are working on this entertainment center. If you're interested in seeing any more about this entertainment center, including how we installed this barnwood, go check in the links in the description below. But right now we're going to be solving a very common problem people have when they TV mount on their wall. So generally you have your cables run down the wall and it's just not very nice looking. So today we're going to install a box on the wall and a box down below in our cabinet where we can run cables down through the wall and have them hidden. So let's get started. So all you're going to need for this is just a drywall saw or any other type of little hand saw, a Phillips head screwdriver, and the two boxes, and I'll leave a link in the description below where we got those. This box here will be mounted up here near the TV mount itself, and then the smaller box down below. So let's get started doing this. So the very first thing you want to do is go ahead and mount the TV bracket onto the wall. And we want to do this for multiple reasons, mainly because we want to locate where the studs are at, and we also want to find out where the actual bars that mount to the TV are going to be sitting. I've already made a mark here that indicates where my two brackets are that go on the back of the TV, so we won't be interfered by those. We also need to note, like I said, where the studs are, because we do not want our box to end up on top of a stud. It needs to be in between two studs here. So basically all you're going to do on this first step is use the big part of the template that's provided and transfer that onto the wall, and we're going to go ahead and cut it out with our handsaw. Pretty easy. So now I'm just going to use my drywall saw to cut this hole out. There are other tools you could use, like a multi-tool or a Dremel or something like that. That would also work just as well, but all you have to do is pound it through and cut on your lines. So now we're going to cut a corresponding hole at the bottom of the wall using the smaller template. We've already done that in our cabinet preparing for this, but I still need to cut the drywall out, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Make sure that whenever you cut this, that you're cutting them within the same studs, because if you skip over a stud, then your cords aren't going to be able to go down to it. There's going to be a stud in the way. I hope that makes sense, but make sure they're vertically aligned or pretty close. Back, let's continue with this little project. I've bent over the cable on this box. This will just help us feed it down through the wall, and basically we're just going to push it down through here. It's nice to have a second person to help you with this because they can reach up and grab it through the other hole. So that's what we're going to do now. So now that the cable is run all the way down through the wall, we're going to go ahead and insert it into the wall. Things you need to keep in mind are these flaps right here. They lift up and then they'll twist inside. They need to be twisted inside in order to go into the hole, and then when you go to tighten them down, they'll flip around and grab the inside edge of this so that it'll be able to screw into place. Now you also may have to enlarge your hole a bit. Just be careful if you have to do that, and take your time doing it because you don't want to make it too big. Let's go ahead and then slide this in. Okay, so now that we have inserted this into the hole, we're going to go ahead and start screwing these in. You can use a screwdriver or an impact driver. Just if you're using a drill like this, just be careful not to over tighten the screws. But as we screw these in, those flaps are going to turn around and they're going to grab the inside of the wall and secure this nicely into place. All right, now we can move on to the lower section. So I take that back. We're actually not going to go down to the lower section as the instructions entail. I'm going to go ahead and run my HDMI cables down through the wall because I think it'll be a little bit easier to do that now, and then we can just pass these through the box as we install it. I think this will be a little bit easier, but in the future you will have to do it with a box in place. This will just be easier to feed it in through the hole, if that makes any sense. We've decided to put 2 HDMI cables down through the wall. Power is already going to be up here, so basically we'll be able to run 2 devices on this TV. You can add as many cables as you need, and yeah, so we're just going to go ahead and feed these down through. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and connect the box to the wires that came from the box up top. This is very simple to do and requires no tools. If you'll read the little label that's on the end of these wires, it tells you which one of these terminals to go to, and all you're going to do is push it in the back of this clip and it automatically locks itself into place. So if I read this black one, it says black wire to black wire. Pretty simple. All we're going to do is take the connector and shove the wire in next to it, and it will click in and won't come back out. So be sure you get this right the first time. The white wire says white wire to white wire. Easy. Clicks into place, and then your green goes to your ground. Clicks into place. And now we're ready to insert this into the wall. So after improperly reading the instructions and connecting these before you put this box on, we had to make a little modification to this. So when you're doing this, make sure you shove these wires through this box before you connect them into these connectors, because this box goes right here and screws on. We just cut a little notch right there so that the wires could pass through the bottom. And this is just going to go on right here and be secured down with a couple of provided screws. So the last step of this install is just taking the provided power cord, plugging it into the socket we just installed, and plugging this in to the nearest power outlet. And you're good to go. Everything's done and ready to roll. So we finished installing the last one on the bottom, and then we ran our cables through, mounted the TV, hooked everything up, and completed the project. As you can see, we've done a lot behind the scenes here and really made this project complete and awesome looking. So if you are interested in seeing how we built the rest of this, there's a link in the description below to that video. I do hope you found this informational and useful. This is something that we've never done before, but it definitely spices up a project and makes it look much more expensive or nicer because you no longer have to see the gaudy cables hanging down. And it's very, very, very simple. So check the links in the description below to find the product we used, and we'll see you guys next week.